Welcome to Moss Marketing Mondays, a.k.a. the M3 Podcast. Brought to you by Moss Marketing Group, bringing you everything marketing every Monday. Stay tuned for marketing tips and tricks you can use today. The M3 Podcast, marketing knowledge to help you succeed. Let's get started.
Welcome back to the M3 Podcast. This week, us three from the MMG squad have a good friend, Noe. Thank you for being on.
Hi. Good to see you.
Noe is a longtime friend of Bush. He's starting early. Noe is a longtime friend of ours that we met in the car business. How long ago did we meet, Noe?
If you're asking me memory questions, it's not going to go good for this podcast, really.
I mean, it had to have been like, what?
4 or 5 years ago?
Yeah. At least.
Sounds something like that.
Probably
yeah.
around there.
Yep.
So we started working together in the car business.
Yep.
And helping sponsor you and everything that you're doing, and being a local Kansas City, I'm going to say music superstar.
That's just say musician. But I've been around for a while. Yeah.
Yeah. And I feel like everyone knows you. And
That's cool. That is really cool.
yeah. And you've hit the stage you've hit a lot of big stages around here, and got to perform with a lot of really big names, and really made a big name for yourself too in it. And
I've been very lucky. I really have.
lucky or hard work? I feel like,
Yeah, it's both.
yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely both. I've been doing this for, I'm going to date myself. So graduated college in 97, and I started my first band in 99, something like that. I think so. Yeah, something like that. And I was just doing it for fun. I really was. It was... got on the fire department, and I had a lot of time off, and I knew that I wanted to do music full time, and I loved it. It was a great outsource for me, so I had to take a chance and see where it went. I didn't have dreams of grandeur or anything like that, but I just wanted to see how far I could push myself in the music industry, because I knew the industry was tough.
Did you know that from a young age, or was that just
No,
after college?
No, I didn't know what the music industry was like until I went to Nashville, and then
That's where it all starts.
yeah, and
It's a fun place.
Everything changed.
World
Everything
gets a lot bigger, doesn't it?
Yeah. If you're not a musician, if you go to Nashville, you'll see one side. You'll only see one side. If you go as a musician, it's completely different. It's mean, it's nasty, but it's rewarding, just like any other business,
Yeah.
if you can find your spot in it.
And I want everyone listening, the M3 Podcast is very much a business marketing style podcast. And us being friends with you and watching you come up and watching all this stuff, you run very similar to a business. The obstacles that you overcome are very much like a business of the same kind of things. You run and operate the same way. You have to market yourself just like a business would. So, I mean, you guys are cracking bush lights faster than anyone can talk here.
We said it before. We're going to finish the case.
But I think people underestimate how much goes into what you do. And when you say going out to Nashville, like how there's two different sides, it's just as a business of what everyone sees perception from the outside of what actually running a business looks like.
Right.
Is two completely different things.
Yeah.
Everyone from the outside is like, oh, this is fun. They're making all this money. They're doing this and that. Like, they don't see the late nights of working, being in at the ass crack of dawn, doing all these other things.
Right.
Just like what you're doing. And as I thought about it, I was like, who would be great on the podcast is Noe. I'm like, his story is right. Everything like it is very similar to a business.
Well, I appreciate that, and I really do. treating it as a business, I tried not to because I wanted to keep the fun in it. I wanted to keep my friends in it, and everybody comfortable and still make money. Mm-hmm. And making money in music is difficult, especially the last 2 years, 2020, 2021. Making money during the COVID, it was really difficult because there were just, we couldn't go out and play music,
Which
it sucked.
COVID times, like I was telling them before, like before you even got here, I was like, and they're like, how do you like know Noe this well and all this? I'm like, we were doing, Noe was, I say we, I wasn't involved. Like Noe's doing garage and driveway parties, like with him playing and all this stuff. And like, we go to his house and the whole entire street, everyone from this whole neighborhood is out there in lawn chairs with the street blocked off to listen to music. And it was like the coolest thing that it was like, you felt this just community and everything like come around on something that was so unique.
Right. Like during COVID, like at my house at the time, I was like, people need something to get together. It wasn't about money. It wasn't even about music. It was just about getting together and getting out and seeing a smiling face. You know what I mean? During that time, it was terrible. I hated being in the house because I could only practice so much. I could only sing so much, learning new songs and stuff like that. I could only write so much. And I found an outlet that I could like just sit up in my driveway and people would just park down the street and I could just crank my, my Bose system up and they could just like, finally, something I can just relax to and not worry about anything for the next hour. Yeah. That was great for me. I love doing stuff like that. I'm a huge charity guy. I love doing stuff like that. But during COVID, that was perfect for me.
I think what that did for others though was 10 times beyond what it did for you. Like things I remember during COVID was like sitting in Noe's street watching him play music. Like it was something like when that came out, I was like, oh, like there was nothing to do. Like now people are like, oh, I go to this concert, I go do this. Like we're going out to dinner. Like all that stuff was gone. And you're like 2 weeks of like twiddling your thumbs. Like you can only do like so many workouts in your driveway. And
you say 2 weeks, but for some it was like a year and a half.
Yeah, but it was like those things were going and Noe was doing these deals that like when we got a text, we didn't have any other plans. So it was like, let's go.
So what was that like whenever, was it the first time that you went to Nashville, you were just like a fan, like had a dream of it, or how did that all start?
The first time I went there was for business. It's kind of a long story, but I can shorten it up, I guess.
Oh, we're short on time, bro. You got plenty of time.
So there's a lot of cool players in this story. I'm going to age myself right here, but do you guys remember the band Ozark Mountain Daredevils?
I'm not going to lie to you and say yes.
Okay, good.
No.
So Leonard Skinner was a fan of these guys.
We know who that is.
Yeah.
The Beatles, the lead singer. Help me out here.
Also
we are a ton of help.
We know who the Beatles are. I don't know who all their singers are.
The one that's still alive. The one that's still alive, bass player.
Lauren.
Who's the lead singer of the Beatles? Paul McCartney.
Yes.
Okay.
Paul
We're going
McCartney.
to say
I had
yes.
that in my brain.
I don't feel like anyone seems super sure about that, but we're going to go with that.
If we're wrong, let us know in the comments.
Yeah, if that's wrong, just tell us below.
So Paul McCartney is a huge Ozark Mountain Devils fan. And the guy that I wrote with in Nashville, he's got an Ozark Mountain Daredevils t-shirt on with Paul McCartney in his bathroom. That's how cool this was. So I'm going to back up just a little bit. A friend of mine from the fire department said that, hey, a friend of mine wants to check you out and see if you can make it in Nashville. I said, okay, cool. So he comes out to the show. His name's Randall Chowney. Randall Chowney was the lead guitarist for, and also a singer for Ozark Mountain Daredevils. And I could say a couple songs, but I don't know if you guys would remember this song. But anyway, he comes out to a show and says, I think you would do good. So he came from Nashville and checked out a show and went back and told his wife's brother was the manager of Tim McGraw. So his name was Scott Simon. Scott Simon saw my video and heard recordings and stuff like that, and he said, I want to sign you, management company. So I said, awesome. I had a band at the time called Broken Cowboys. Don't ask me what year it was because we're that deep into our beers right now. So
right around the time that we were born, somewhere around there.
Probably.
No, it was after.
So I'm flying back and forth every month to go write and stuff like that, and making great progress. I met Holly Williams, which is Hank Williams' daughter. She was a sweetheart. I met so many people. I got to sit on a writer's round with Tim McGraw and Faith Hill. I got to sit right next to Faith Hill. She smells phenomenal.
Are you not feeling the same kind of thing here at the M3 podcast? Yeah. Do you know that's Logan Scott that you're getting sitting next to?
It's very similar, by the way. It's very similar. Tim was on the other side, and they were awesome. They were great people. We just listened to the songs, and basically what we were doing was shopping for songs. Many times, every time that I would fly out there, we were just writing and stuff like that. So that's what I was doing for 2 years, and having a great time. That fizzled out because I was a raw project and not a polished project. So it was going to take more time and money to put me out there. And there was other acts that were coming in there and doing special stuff that was cooler at the time. So after the 2 years, they let me go, and I was grateful for the time that I had. Yeah, definitely, because I was eating lunch with Keith Urban, Carrie Underwood, Jason Aldean, and all these guys that were brand new. And just having a good time. But
if you could give me a lunch with Carrie Underwood, that'd be cool. That'd be really cool.
I got a story for that. If we have time later on, remind me of my Carrie Underwood story. Okay. So I had a great opening for my music career, and I was very, very lucky. I noticed how nasty Nashville can be, and could be, but it just wasn't for me. Not that I didn't succeed. It was just I didn't like how they do business. Yeah. And unfortunately, I heard another video or something like that where my buddy was talking about Nashville, and he was right on spot, because Nashville, when you request songs on the radio, it doesn't affect those artists whatsoever. Those songs that are being released are already destined to be whatever their number is on the scale of, what should I say, top 40 country, whatever genre it is. They're already predetermined where they're going to be on the countdown. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
So if it's going to be number one, is say Joe Schmo's got this song called John Wayne. It's probably going to be number one if there's enough money behind it and enough voters behind it. Doesn't matter what you say.
So there's a lot of politics in that.
Very, yeah. There's tons of politics behind it.
Which,
yeah,
I think it's crazy when you look at how crazy that business is in Nashville, and like when you get to that space, how different it is from being here.
Yeah.
Where
We're in Kansas City.
Yeah. It's a completely different deal. Like, tell me if I'm wrong, but that's like the music capital of the United States pretty much, right?
Right.
So
right.
it's, when you look at that,
We actually have two.
what's the second one?
Austin,
Oh,
Dallas,
Yeah.
Texas. I should say Texas.
okay.
Texas has their own music,
Yeah.
but it doesn't hit mainstream like
Nashville.
country radio
Yeah.
does here in Kansas City or Nashville or Seattle or California, whatever. Yeah, it doesn't have the same effect, but they have their own music. They have their
Yeah.
own branded music.
And I think it's something that I feel like that's like an eye opener when you get there. And it was very much an eye opener, like in the business space, us coming in with what we're doing. I thought like you just do everything right by every business you work with. Everyone's just going to think the same way we think, and everything's just going to be gravy. And it's crazy how quick you learn, like how unloyal people are, how people tell you stuff that isn't true. Like we've worked with companies and taken them from zero to everything in the world and changed people's lives. And then they're like, well, now that we have all this extra money, we're going to try it out doing it ourselves.
Right.
And it's just like, you figure out real quick that like,
Yeah.
people can tell you one thing, people's actions speak for a completely different thing. And that's where it's crazy when you hear something like that. And
Don't look at me.
Completely.
we're hearing random music somewhere from around here. I don't know what it's from.
No, I think money definitely changes people, and until you either have money or you don't have money is when you see people's true colors.
Oh, I agree.
Yeah.
And I think no matter the space you're in, whether it's music, business, I think there's two sides of everything. That one people want you to see, and the one that they may not want you to see, but they have to do.
The business is still the same. We're just doing a different product.
Yeah. Your product, you're just selling music.
Yeah. Yeah. Completely. There's just a little bit more. I shouldn't say there's more facets to music than there is business, but the end goal is still the same. No, definitely.
Yeah.
So how does an artist get paid on, like, you put music out there, like it hits radio or it hits like mainstream? How do they get paid on that? Like,
You're hitting me right between the legs.
This is where
It's
he
terrible.
says pass.
It's yeah.
Pass,
It's terrible.
Pass, I don't want to talk about this.
So you have online sales, you have Spotify, you have Pandora, you have Google, Amazon, Apple Music. You have all of it. As an artist at my level, I maybe get
You don't have to say the number.
$40 a month, but I will sell tons and tons of CDs. Tons.
really?
But like the sales, these are on like just solo songs. I'll break it down to you. For a solo song, if I sold a solo song on all of those platforms, I would get maybe 5 cents. Maybe 5 cents, which is fine. I didn't come into the music business to make money. I came into the music business to make people smile and have a great day.
Yeah.
So in that, you sign with like how does like a record,
label.
like a label or like something like that. How does that stuff all work? Because like you have singles out there that are phenomenal. I think a lot of times in the music space, there's people out there that are unfound just because of the marketing of the management, the label, things like that.
I agree.
And it's like
Agree.
Masked Wolf. Before he even became big, I found him on TikTok with like less than 100 followers.
Well, yeah,
Astronaut in the Ocean now, which is like
we were messaging him on Facebook. Was it About 2 years ago now.
Yeah.
2 years ago, him and I were talking on Facebook. He was letting us use all of his music and everything for our videos.
Yeah. So we're putting like Mass Wolf, like Astronaut in the Ocean, which became a top hit worldwide. And we found it 6 months before anyone even got any traction about it.
Yeah.
But it was just something that was like so weird that I heard this song. I was like, this song is legit.
Yeah.
And I'm like one of like 12 other people that watched it on TikTok. And it's like, but I think sometimes these like record labels and things like that don't do any marketing or anything to get that music out there. And what does that look like in that space of like how that stuff gets distributed and goes out?
There's a lot of different ways to market out a song. And if this guy was using just social media, I mean, social media is a great avenue for making money or just getting your name out. But it seems like when you sign to a major label, not an indie label, there's completely different. I believe that indie labels are much more creative at marketing their people. They just don't have the reach. When you're with a major label, it always seems like they sit back and they go, okay, Dane, we're gonna sign you, but we're gonna sit on you for a year until we get your numbers up. Numbers are a major thing with labels. So if I went to Warner or Sony or whoever and said, hey, I've got, and this is a true story, I've got 15,000 followers on Facebook. I've got maybe 3,000 followers on Instagram and blah, blah, blah. They'll go, okay, I like what you're doing. We're going to invest X amount of dollars in you, but we're going to sit on you for a little bit until we can get those numbers up before we release your music. Like, why?
Yeah.
If the song is hot, if DJs are playing it everywhere, every time that I play this song, it's being requested across the country. Why are you waiting? Because songs have a shelf life,
Exactly.
Yeah.
right?
Absolutely.
Let's go. Let's do with like a major one. Achy Breaky Heart.
Yeah.
Yep.
What's his name?
Which I believe that songs have a shelf life after they've reached that pinnacle of
Yeah.
everyone hearing them. Yeah. Like, I feel like you could take a song that you did years ago and go put it in a new location and take it back off.
I believe it.
Yeah.
I
My
believe
deal
it.
is like what I think about as being in a marketing space, being in the space that we're in. We've had music people reach out to us. I'm like, we don't do that. Like, that's not what we're in. But I also sit there and think about like the recipe of what we've done with businesses. I don't see how it wouldn't work in the music space too. Is so say we put out a video we put out videos for car dealerships, for power washing companies, for landscape companies. And I can get 100,000 views on a landscape company's video. How can you not, like, I don't see how you make a music video that's phenomenal and we go after the paid social side, going after Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, all this, go after paid social side. You're going to figure out a direct correlation off every 100,000 people that we're putting on social to them correlating into Spotify, to Apple Music, to all these things, going and downloading that song.
Yeah.
So then you're going to figure out every 100,000 people we have, 20,000 of them are going to download over here.
Yeah. So, like TikTok right now, like there's multiple artists. Do you use TikTok?
I do not.
No. So there's multiple artists that I'd say we all know that like became a thing because of TikTok. Like,
Yeah.
I just don't understand
I've seen
why
that.
an artist would have to use a label now instead of going that direction. Like Warren Ziders, like Ride the Lightning, Brian Andrews. I don't know if you know who that is. He's from Missouri. He has like 1.3 million followers on TikTok.
Really?
Like these artists just posting their songs and videos of themselves singing them, and they're blowing up.
But the only what I was thinking was going back to, you say everyone has a predetermined number they're going to be on the list. Mm-hmm. So top 40, those major labels, correct me if I'm wrong, it's like, hey, you're going to be number 5 because we're throwing X amount of money at you.
Yep.
And that's why you're going to be 5. So that's what it's like. You could
So
have
it's
those,
like a guarantee.
yeah, you could have all those people putting out those one-hit wonders or something like that, where it's like, hey, you took off, you got the name recognition, but they're like, you won't beat number 5
But
because
you have no idea, Dre, because somebody will like, you know, who Mark Cuban is.
Yeah.
Mark Cuban says, I'm going to invest $4 million into, you know, I'm going to use John Wayne because he keeps staring at me.
He's the fastest draw around.
Yeah. John Wayne's got this new single out. I'm going to put in $4 million. The labels will go, all right, we'll get you to number 2. Well, what's it going to take for number 1? $7 million.
Wait, so people actually invest in songs? Wow.
Yeah.
I think that's crazy in one aspect. But the other thing I look at too is like, it's a pay to play space, kind of. Mm-hmm. And if you're willing to pay to go get there, there comes to a point where people can't be ignored.
I agree.
So it's like exactly what Masked Wolf did. Masked Wolf, a lot of people did not believe in what he was doing. And he posted, he was very vocal about like, he was meeting with record labels, things like that. They didn't like what he was doing. And I'm pretty sure he just stood on stage at Tomorrowland. Like, largest
He did.
gathering of people in the world. And he's on stage with 2 years ago, he was a nobody. With one song, and now he created all these songs. And like, I had him on a playlist, and people were like reaching out to me. And I've gained like maybe close to 1,000 people on Spotify that follow one playlist I have. And people were like reaching out to me, and they're like, who is this guy? And I'm like, I found him on TikTok. And it was like, I like his songs. And like, but it was just something so crazy that in 24 months of what he did, it doesn't matter what label's out there. They can't ignore what the guy's doing.
But I do believe he did sign to a label now.
Oh, yeah, he definitely did.
Because when he signed,
because
I definitely couldn't message him anymore.
Now you message him, he does. You can't actually talk to him anymore.
because they want a part of that pie.
Yeah.
But we had like YouTube videos with his songs on them, and we were perfectly fine copyright wise. And like
He said, as long as you tag me in it, he's like, I just want to promote my
Really?
stuff. I'm
That's
like,
awesome.
I'm like, for sure. And we tagged
That's
him in
awesome.
any photo we ever put out or video. And I even sent him to him, and he's like, man, those look great. He's like, thank you for the exposure. And then like
6 months ago, we get like a deal that's like, hey, all of your stuff has been flagged for copyright problems. You can't use this music. And
Of course.
I was like,
that
oh,
was
dang.
the label.
Yeah. But
Because they want their money.
yeah, and it's just something crazy on how that like works. I feel like it's so much as like a business type deal.
Well, exactly. It goes to show that no matter what industry you're in, stuff changes rapidly. So those labels that were like 2 years ago, like it's our way, you're going to do it like this, sign on the dotted line. Now I'm sure that they're being forced to be like, okay, here's a little bit more. Like take this, you can have this, you know.
Think about being one of those people at one of those labels that guy came in, and you go to your manager and you're like, no, we don't need this guy. I don't like him, blah, blah, blah.
Oh, yeah.
2 years later, guys standing on stage at Tomorrowland like, bro, you fucked up. Like, you really fucked up.
Same thing with, that's the exact same story with Luke Combs.
Yeah.
As far as I know, he had, his first single was Hurricane. It was out for 2 to 3 years before radio picked it up, and it went to number 1 as soon as he got signed.
Yeah.
Because labels have the distribution. Labels have the power over radio stations. Radio stations are just pawns because of the labels. Being a unsigned artist in Kansas City, much less Nashville, getting your song played on radio is unheard of, because those slots being songs, are already filled because of the labels.
Yeah.
And so being snuck in there at a weird time, 2 a.m., whatever, midnight, whatever, maybe every once in a while in a major market like Q104 or 106.5. I'm just talking about Kansas City, 94.1. It's hard to get somebody local one spot, much less a rotation in Kansas City.
Yeah.
So, but I've been here long enough that if I release a song, I can get a rotation for maybe a week, maybe 2 weeks. If the song's good, don't get me wrong, I don't put out number one hits all the time. But
do you know which song is going to be good before you put it out, or like better than others?
Yeah. I will pick out artists. I will invest in artists and listen to their album and I'll listen to them on XM.
Yeah.
Satellite, because satellite doesn't, local radio doesn't play all satellite songs. So most of the time I will listen to satellite radio and invest my time and find out what's new and what's upcoming, what's the trend, what are the new melodies and things like that, because there's so many artists that have changed in the last 10 years, changed country music that's being sold. Not what's awesome to me,
right?
But what's being sold. That's the stuff that I have to pay attention to.
Yeah, you got to play the game.
I'm
guessing you're not a fan of like the new.
I'm not a person to change the game. I'm a person that's trying to get in the game still. So, and at my age, I'm at the point where I'm just going to start playing stuff that I like and I know my friends like and my family like. So it's important to me to stay true. But on the other hand, at the end, I shouldn't say I'm at the end of my career, but I'm definitely slowing down because, I'm not a young pup anymore. I can still go do those 4-hour shows, which I hate to do, but I can still travel 3 days in a row and go do 3 shows in a row. That's easy.
Yeah. I feel like you still do a lot of shows, and I mean, you're all over the place. And
Yeah.
You've opened up at Power and Light District, and I mean,
Many times.
I feel like that's making it to a pretty big stage.
Yeah.
Power and Light is not a huge stage, but it's a cool stage, especially for a local musician, because we have so many great artists coming through because of Jason Bradley and Cordish and all those people down there, because they invest their time. They know what's coming up. And what's cool is they've asked me a few times, what's hot right now, and I was like, this guy's gonna kill it. So you need to pay attention before some other bar or venue or amphitheater or whatever is in the market for buying. So I've been lucky in that aspect, but anybody that's come through Kansas City, I'm pretty much opened up for. You can think of anybody.
Who's your favorite person that you've opened up for or played with?
Are you going to put him on the spot like that? That's messed up.
Yeah, that's a tough one.
You can pass.
I have ties to a lot of guys, and I have no ties to people that have been phenomenal, but
or maybe who's the biggest? I mean, if you don't want to answer favorite, who's the biggest?
in my eyes, and I don't know if you guys know this guy, Travis Tritt was one of my heroes. He's the reason I got into country music.
Really?
I got to open up for him twice. Got to talk to him once. It was a little bit of a letdown, but I understand. I understand what he has to go through. Man, I've done shit. I shouldn't say that.
Yeah, this is a no cussing podcast.
Okay.
I'm just
He's good.
Okay.
He's good.
Fucking A, sweet. Done shows with Morgan Wallen. I've done shows with Justin Moore. I just almost everybody.
Yeah.
Justin Moore is definitely by far my favorite. He's been the most gracious to me. I think because of the ties that I had with him, his road manager at the time was one of my best friends. So, quick story. I'm doing a show at the Beaumont Club, and you guys weren't alive probably back then. But the Beaumont Club was in Westport, right on Pennsylvania, and we did shows with open up for people all the time. So Phil Vassar, remember Phil Vassar?
He's looking at you, Dane. You're the oldest one here.
Piano player, phenomenal.
Bro, you're throwing a lot of names at me.
Just another day in paradise.
We're gonna have to
okay.
plug
I
that
do know
song
that
in
song.
for like.
I'm gonna need
Great singer. He's like the Billy Joel of country music.
Okay.
He's phenomenal. Billy Joel.
I'm looking this up right now.
Phil Vassar came into town, and this guy was working his merch table. So after I got done opening up for Phil Vassar, I was sitting at my own merch table, and this big old bulky Mexican guy comes up to me and says, "Hey, what's going on, Noe?" It's like,
Is it?
"Yep, yeah, it's #1 song."
You're gonna get copyrighted on YouTube.
That's okay.
We just gotta play it for like 15 seconds and we're good.
So we struck up a friendship, and we never lost friendships because he was this is kind of weird to say, he was a brown guy in country music. I was a brown guy in country music, which is, it's even weirder for me because there wasn't too many Mexican, Joey G is his name. There's not many artists that are Mexican in country music, but he wasn't the artist. He was just a merch guy at the time. But being me, half Filipino, there was only one other guy that's half Filipino in country music. Help me out. Oh,
You're throwing a lot of
brain fart.
I feel like
huge brain fart.
I feel like we're very under prepared for the music space podcast.
So anyway, there's one other guy that's half Filipino, and in country music, and has had probably 4 or 5 #1s, I think, something like that.
I got it.
You actually check that out.
Yeah,
You
Google
know what I'm
exists
talking
for
about.
a reason.
So we struck up a friendship. This was, I shouldn't even tell you the year. It was 2000.
Is it Neil McCoy?
Yes, it is.
Oh, Neil McCoy.
Yeah.
He was the only one that
Google
popped
is
up.
amazing.
I'm gonna have to get Noe added to here, so when we search this, we get two
Yeah.
of them.
His mom's Filipino. His dad was Texas, so he called himself a Texapino. Awesome dude. Awesome dude. So anyway, we struck up this friendship, and we kept in touch. And every time he came to Kansas City, we would hang out, and I'd hang out with this artist. So he was a manager for Phil Vassar, Blue County, Gary Allen, Chris Cagle, and Justin Moore. He just retired from the road, so now he's on the management side. But so anytime he would come into town, we would strike out that friendship, and I would get to meet the artists. I connected with Justin a little bit more than anybody else. Gary Allen stories, I could tell you a whole bunch of good stuff. I'm not going to.
We'll do that after the podcast.
Yeah. It's a PG-13 show.
Yeah. You're gonna have to subscribe for the X-rated version afterwards.
Right. But I struck up a friendship with Justin Moore, so we bonded over 80s country and 90s country, and even though he was so much younger than I was, he was an older soul, so we bonded really good, and it helped me out in learning how to do the stage, even though I've done it a lot longer than he has. His knowledge of being with a label, a major label, Valerie, helped me out a ton, and it was a good friendship, and we still have I should say a small friendship till then, because he's a major artist and people are poking at him all the time. Hey, listen to this, and can you get me tickets to this, and you want to be sponsored by this? And I understand. I understand on a small scale.
Yeah.
Just
I talk to them about it all the time of like, as that scale moves, like we've already started to see it. Like I tell them, I'm like, we have probably 3 to 4 people a week reach out, like want to work here. And it's like, and then everybody under the moon wants us to sponsor something, which I knew would like come, which we sponsor a lot of things, which I want to do those things, money willingly being able to. And it's crazy as that bar moves up. where all of a sudden you don't know where like genuine lies anymore.
Right.
You don't know where that person's like, are they only wanting me because we can pay to do this? Are they genuinely a friend? Like,
Well, it's funny is I went to UMKC for college, and one of the speakers in my entrepreneurship class, he was one of the main people that helped like create YouTube. He like developed YouTube and everything, and at 21, he was a multimillionaire. And the guy sitting there, he's like, I didn't know who my friends were. It got to the point where he's like, me being located in Kansas City, he's like, and being a developer, he's like, I was 21 with multi-million dollars. He's like, all my friends would hang out with me. He's like, it started with like, oh, I'd get everyone's drinks at the bar. And then we go out and I was getting everyone's clothes if we all went out shopping. And he's like, that line never stopped. So he's like, I took all my money, threw it in a trust. He's like, my best friend now is a postman. He's like,
damn.
I love him. But he's like, it
would suck.
goes to that line where it's like, he's like, I didn't know who I could trust, who I couldn't, who was hanging out with me because I had money, who we just couldn't be around.
what was it, 2 weeks ago, we went to the MGK concert.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then right afterwards,
3 when this comes out.
yeah, 3 when this comes out. But when, after that, the next day, we watched the MGK documentary. That's like one of his biggest deals is like, the guy has no friends. Like, he doesn't know who wants to be his friend because he has money. And he has really nobody from before that. And it's just like crazy when you watch people like that and you watch it with Justin Bieber and you watch like all these things of these guys that have made to that level. Like, my girlfriend and I, we've watched these documentaries. I'm like, I wouldn't trade my life for theirs for nothing. I'm like, these people are so lost with nobody around them.
Yeah. That would suck.
Because they've made it to
would.
this level. I'm like, I'd rather be a quarter of the size and at least know the people that are around me want to be around me.
Yeah.
They're not with me just because I have money or whatever that is. And those guys are so lost in the universe of no earthly idea of what's coming around them being real or fake.
I've been lucky enough to have a great group of friends since I've started this, and they've never tried to attach on to what I've been doing or anything like that. And not like I'm on a huge scale whatsoever, but I've had some perks.
Yeah. There's definitely perks that come with that.
Yeah, I've had a lot of perks, and I make sure that I include them in it. When I have a big concert or something like that, I make sure that they're taken care of. I make sure that they have great seating or anything like that. Anything that I can do, they don't ask for.
Yeah.
I've just been lucky enough because I've known them so long. And so the people that enter my circle that, you know, are asking for something immediately, like, you know, I've got a lot of family I have to take care of first, but if there's extra, you know, I'll try to
try
help
to do
you
it in
out.
like a finesseful way.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not like being an
Yeah.
asshole about it, and it's
Well, where were we at the other night? We went to a bar, and the bartender, they're like, oh, you want to put it on the DJ's tab because we knew the DJ there. We're like, no. Like, that's their tab. That's not something like, if we were at the bar and you were playing, they're like, hey, no, he's got a tab open, you want to put it on it? It's like, no.
Right.
most time I'm the person when somebody's like, hey, you want to go put it on their tab? I'm like, give me whatever tab they have. So I always did that with Jamie and Aaron. So I'll make sure if he's listening. Well, I want
Jamie,
him to
you better be listening.
You better be listening right now. We're gonna call you out on this.
Sounds like you owe
Come to
Dane some
town.
drinks.
No, but wait, he would have a tab open. He would get so pissed about it, and I think that's why I like doing it even more because he'd get so mad. I'd go up there and be like, "Oh, Jamie's already got his tab open." I was like, "Give me whatever's on his tab right now. I'll tab it out." And then afterwards, he wouldn't even know at the time. And then like the next day, he's like, "Did you really grab half my tab?" Blah blah blah. Blah. You get so mad. It was just like,
He'd all swell up.
yeah.
He'd Hulk out.
I think I just like doing it just because it got him so rattled. But I'm like, I'm not putting on his tab. But I think there's a lot of people that take so much of that for, I don't know, they take advantage of people and they're going after people for the wrong reasons.
I believe that. Yeah. Yeah.
I think the music industry is probably like way worse too because you guys do have so many perks that come along with things.
A lot of social perks.
Yeah.
For sure. Yeah, like, can you can you help me meet this artist that you're opening up for and stuff like that?
I mean, I'm holding you to get me in front of Carrie Underwood because Madison, like, I'm just going to hold you to
He
that.
literally said, he's like, I have people just say, can you introduce me? And you just did the same thing.
So, okay. I will tell them.
I've been playing that all 5 years of us knowing each other was to get to
hear
that point right there.
All right.
We'll do
Carrie
the Underwood
Carrie
story.
Underwood's. So I got signed to RPM, which was Scott and his management company. And so we're at a label party for a fundraiser for kids school supplies. So we're in Nashville, and I'm standing around, and Keith Urban's over to my left, Jason Aldean's over there. Carrie Underwood just won American Idol year prior.
Oh. Wow.
So she just got signed. So I'm standing there and with my buddy's wife, and she's kind of like my guide through everybody. And she's like, there's Carrie Underwood. I'm like, really? So I look over to my left, and I look over like that. She's looking right at me.
Locked eyes. We knew it was at that moment.
Magic
it was
happened.
There's a few friends that know this story,
That's
so I'm
the whole
not.
story.
I'm not blemishing this whatsoever. So we lock eyes, and I immediately go. I told Janie, I was like, Janie, Carrie Underwood's looking at me. She goes, I know. Go talk to her. Like, what do you say to somebody who just won American Idol? I am nobody, and I'm not a suave guy with girls whatsoever. If I'm smooth, I'm on stage. If I'm off stage, I'm a dork, big time. She's like, go talk to her. So I look over again. She looks over me and she smiles.
Want me to reenact it?
Yeah.
Are you guys looking at each other that way?
She smiles. And she's about from me to Dre. I'm like, all right.
And you passed
No,
out.
you can do this. You can do this. You can do this. So I turn back around. She is gone.
Disappeared.
She disappeared. She went to another part of the room. I was like, you've got to be kidding me. This is during CMA Fest, also at the same time. So I beat myself up. But later on, 2 days later, we had the celebrity softball tournament. I was with a band called Blue County, which my buddy Joey G was the manager. So we're on the softball field. And I'm sitting in the dugout. I'm not playing because nobody knows me. And Carrie Underwood's on the team. And I'm sitting right at the steps that go out to the field. She's standing at the top of the steps. She's eating peanuts. This is my last interaction with Carrie Underwood, by the way. She's eating peanuts, and she just tosses one and hits me right in the forehead.
You said, thank you.
That peanut's still in my house to this day.
I said, what the heck? She heard me. She turned around and said, oh, baby, I didn't mean to hit you. And she walked away. Oh.
I was expecting something way different.
Did you ask her if she'd sign it?
Do you have a Sharpie with you?
But that was my last interaction with Carrie Underwood. Apparently, she didn't remember 2 days prior to that. But, prior to my last marriage, I could have been dating.
We
at least went on a date with Carrie because obviously she, and I am really not lying. There was eye lockage. It was nice.
I totally
It was nice. It was nice.
Hey, if a girl
But
looks at you like over like 4 times in a row, and you're just like,
But I told Madison when we went to her concert, I paid a lot of money so Madison could be front row right there. I think we locked eyes too.
But she didn't look like the Carrie Underwood that you see today. A little bit different. She was an Oklahoma girl then.
Yeah.
She's a Nashville girl now.
Yeah.
A little bit different.
Very much so.
But she was still beautiful.
But
back
she was
then.
definitely looking at me too. I think so. I'm gonna go.
Yeah,
with
we'll
that.
go with that.
I'm going with
Just
that.
leave it
Now
there.
you both are on the she locked eyes with both of you, and you both neither one.
So, if you were to go back on your music career, on how it's progressed and everything you've done, would you do everything the same way with what you know now, or would you have done things differently?
If I would have went 100%, 110%, excuse me, I would have went to Nashville. I would have moved to Nashville.
Right out the gate?
Yep.
And
I had too much success here really fast, and too many friends, and too great job. I still have everything going for me here in Kansas City, that I didn't want to take the chance because the numbers of succeeding in Nashville were terrible. It still is today.
Yeah.
Because, I'm a dime a dozen in Nashville. The only thing I have different going for me is my heritage, and that's not an advantage. That's a hinder. Really is. But in the back of my head, I feel like I can outsing or outperform tons of guys that they're putting out. They just have money.
yeah.
They have investors, which is fine.
So how
It's
does one
okay.
go out in your space and get investors?
Oh, believe in my cause is basically, if they think that they can have a return, yeah, they will put that money down. And I've had those, but I didn't want to let them down. I didn't have the right songs. You can be, I've seen this time and time again. You can have the best song in the world. You can be a mediocre singer, but you have a lot of money behind you. It'll work for that one song. I didn't want to be a one-hit wonder.
Yeah.
I dreaded that.
The same thing I see with like someone we had on the podcast earlier this year. A friend that we went to high school with, his name's David Moore. They come from the venture capitalism side of business, where they have all these big, huge investors come into businesses. They put a bunch of money in, and they say you either take this to the moon or you put it to the bottom of the sea as fast as possible. Mm-hmm. And I feel like that's almost the same thing in the music space, where it's like, we're not here to be a long-term investor. Like, we invest in a lot of things, but like you say, Mark Cuban, guy's a multi-billionaire. Mm-hmm. Him spending $4 million or $6 million on a song is equivalent to you and I going out and having a dinner for an evening.
All right.
So it's like, yeah, they'll go throw $4 million at a song. They may do it at 10 of them to see which one hits. But they're going to bet on that person of, you either take it to the moon. I'm not going to play for second. We're playing for first place here. And it's like, go throw the money after and see what happens kind of deal. And I feel like a lot of those like super large investors really don't care if they lose money on a lot of those things. If they can have 1 out of 10 hit, because that 1 out of 10 is going to make them enough to clear all the 9 losses.
Right.
Yeah.
As I
And
say, on an investor on those, like, what's your return? Like, if you were looking at, like, hypothetically, someone throws $5 million at it, what is that return for an investor?
It depends on what they're investing in. Are they investing in one song? Are they investing in a whole album? Are they investing in a tour, or whatever they're trying to invest in? It just depends on what they're in, how much they're investing in. So say it costs about, on a great song, it costs about $10,000 to make a song. $10,000-$15,000, I should say that.
so what goes into that?
That's just the production of the song. That's it.
That's no like music video or anything like that?
No,
with it?
no, that's just the audio. Then what gets really expensive is the marketing of the song.
Yeah.
I don't even talk about the video, but it's the marketing of the song. Because now there's so many avenues that you have to plug into that makes it difficult for them to get a return. So say they're doing all the social media and they're doing print, they're doing radio. Your chances hugely increase on that song going number one or being in top 10, I should say that. So now that guy needs to make a tour, whoever invested in it. So they need to tour for that song. So they're going to get, depending on the contract, they need to have cuts off of their tour every stop.
Yeah.
They need to make money off every one of those. So if you do a great job and you do a 1-year tour, they're going to make their money back.
Yeah.
Easily.
And that's...
But now they want to make money off of it. And if that song went number one, you can get 2 years out of it easily.
Well, that's what you still have Poison doing tours.
Yeah.
They just toured in
Yeah, you're definitely not too old, bro. Definitely not too old.
Well,
I saw those
the
people
guys
on
on
stage.
stage. I was like, whoa.
But in a label's eye, and that's
Yeah.
Poison. I mean, they're a standard. It's great to be a standard.
Yeah.
It really is. You know, you're talking about Eagles and Poison and Journey and Johnny Cash. You know, when you step in an elevator or walk in a grocery store, they're still getting their residuals because that song is being played. So whoever invested in that song,
Still getting paid.
still getting paid.
Journey needs an investor. We're in. So on that, do you think that from a marketing aspect, a lot of times my head's always turning on what the marketing looks like. Do you think that the social space is driving up more in today's world? Like how Logan tries to get low. Like I can see the screen across here.
It looks like a hunchback.
It was like there's just a black blob went across the bottom of the screen.
Hey, we're human. We have to.
Yeah. Do you think that space is changing on how that marketing looks for
Yes.
labels, driving more towards social and more away from radio? Like
Yes, because social is free.
partly.
Well, in my eyes,
yeah.
where I come from, yes, it is free because of what I do.
Yeah.
You can pay for advertising on social, but yeah, there's a lot more access to a lot more people that is cheaper than what they used to do. Billboards, radio ads, very expensive. TV, you can buy all that.
Which I feel like, I mean, we talk about this all the time. With the marketing space, just here in Kansas City, we watch these companies that have been the big gorilla in the room for the marketing space that had their hand in all the radio stations' pockets and being able to offer all these things. And we watch them just going straight down. Mm-hmm. And they're trying to do everything they can right now. They're going into talking with, we have accounts all the time. They're like, oh, so-and-so was just in here trying to sell us on their social media marketing instead of this. And we told them we were already working with you guys. Like, they know that the radio's not working. They know that these things aren't returning for businesses. And I know that there's so much, I'm someone, I don't listen to commercials. That was one thing I don't deal with.
Yeah.
If that's on TV, if it's on,
Yep.
I pay for Spotify and Pandora. So when I'm in my truck, vehicles are getting to where they all have wireless Apple CarPlay now, to where people can get in their car and it automatically connects to their phone, to their Spotify, to where they don't have to listen to commercials. I had the same conversation with SiriusXM Radio when they called me 2 weeks ago about my trial ending on my truck. And I'm like, no, I don't want to extend it. And the lady's like, why? I'm like, because I don't want to listen to commercials.
Didn't you tell me you have SiriusXM?
Yeah, it's free when I got my truck.
Oh, okay.
So I have a trial and then it's going to end. But it's one of those things that I just didn't. I told him, I was like, when I listened to it 10 years ago, everyone was paying for it because it was the only way you get without commercials.
Yeah.
And now
There's
Spotify.
tons.
Yeah, now there's tons of them on there. Now I can't click on a station and not listen to commercials.
Yeah.
But it turned in just a secondary radio service, just like anything you would listen to around here. So I feel like everything's driving towards a different space and a different way of marketing that stuff, which that's where in my head, I think about all the businesses we work with and how it works. And I think in your guys' space, in the music space, it could work the exact same way. I just haven't seen people go after it that way.
Right.
And if you run a song just like you would a business with still photos coming out all the time with links going to watch it or going to listen to it on Spotify, on Apple Music, if you're running shorts of the music video, getting people to go after it, and then getting people to use that audio on TikTok for their TikToks. And it's like, when you think about all these things, you got people on Instagram using that audio on their reels. Mm-hmm. And then all of a sudden that audio is everywhere. And people are like, hey, I just listened to like 12 seconds of this song. Where's this song at? I click on it. It drives you right back to your Instagram. And it's like all of a sudden it's a snowball effect that goes so fast.
It's great.
And you see a very young generation doing it. And I feel like that's why the young generation has all this traction in the music space. And realistically, I'd say 80% of them suck. Like, you listen to stuff and it's like, it's terrible.
Well, you hear that one song and it's nothing after that's good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I just think that that's something that I feel like that space is changing so quickly.
Oh, it's changing a lot. And which labels have never accounted for.
No.
They had no idea what was coming.
And I feel like that's almost going to take that power that they have away.
Yeah. And it's been happening like that for the last 10 years. Easily.
Yeah, and I feel like even in the last two, since COVID, it shifted even that much more.
Yeah, I think COVID definitely said it. Well, there's a country singer that was here in Kansas City that I saw off a reel, and then I think,
Warren Ziders.
Yeah, you were talking about going seeing him. I'm like, I saw that dude on Instagram
just like
a year and a half
earlier.
ago, and now he's huge.
Yeah.
Jeez. I've seen every one of you guys sneak away to go to the bathroom, so I need to do that.
Are you? Well, that's what happens when we put a whole case of Busch Light in the podcast. It tends to make it go a lot quicker. That's what I talked.
My feet are twitching.
I talked for like 10 seconds. So are we? But we're gonna call it. And
so hold on, one more thing.
One more.
Where are you at coming up? So this will come out on Monday, August 1st. Where are you at coming up? Where can people come see you or find out more about
our
you?
biggest show?
Don't pee your pants until then.
All right, our biggest show is
If you do, more people actually click to this point.
August 6th, Kearney Amphitheater.
Saturday.
It's for Croft Trailer. We're doing a Kearney Country Showdown. Travis Marvin and I are doing a duo show. We do have an opener, Michael Neal Band. Hope that's right. But yeah, him and I are doing a show at Kearney Amphitheater.
Very cool.
Okay. Where can people buy tickets online or?
Yeah, you can buy KearneyAmphitheater.com or you can go to my website, NoePalma.com, or I believe TravisMarvin.com too.
Awesome.
All right,
We'll link it all below.
We'll link that below. Anything else crazy coming up?
I may have another big show announcement here soon.
If he has another big show announcement, we'll put that in the comments when it's verified.
Yeah, I can't say it yet.
Otherwise, follow his social media to find that out. What's your social media?
Facebook, Noe Palma Music, and Instagram, Noe Palma 911, and Twitter, Noe Palma.
Awesome.
It's all posted on there. It's the 911.
Any final thoughts?
I had a great time. This is something I've been wanting to get off my chest or talk about because I don't have anybody to talk to about it, really. I mean, because I have an avenue for it, but I didn't have a platform for it. Yeah. I shouldn't say platform. I should say a reason to talk about it. And thank you guys for bringing it up. I appreciate that.
Thank you for being here.
Yeah, thank you.
And
thank you.
In the future, when you do hit it big, because I feel like you're just one song away from being something really big.
That'd be nice.
So when you do hit it big, you have to come back on.
Of course.
All right, you got to remember us.
Promise.
We were
That's
friends
a
with
verbal
you.
contract.
Yep.
You
were friends with us way before you got big. So
you don't have to worry about me. I'll be here.
He's like, I was big before I met you, bro.
No, but thank you again for coming on and everything. Greatly appreciate it.
Of course.
And, enjoyed having you.
Thanks for the Busch Lights.
No problem. They're free. That's the M3 podcast. Favorite part, Key Ricky.
Thanks for listening to the M3 Podcast. Be sure to subscribe so you don't miss the next episode. Want to learn more? Check us out on Instagram at Moss Marketing Group, on Facebook at Moss Marketing 58, or on our website at mossmarketinggroup.com.